What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am bringing an updated version how to get hired at Chick-fil-A. I haven't done this video in so long. I will link my original video right here up on the screen. I will also have it down in the description for you to check out. Now I am 3 years in and I am way more experienced and way more experience in different fields, I guess we could say, when it comes to Chick-fil-A. I actually just finished getting ready for work. I have work in about 45 minutes, so I am in my uni, got my name tag on. I thought, what more perfect time for me to sit down and film this video for you guys. So I have my notes right here. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. I'm going to be talking about the application process and a little bit of how the interviews go when you go to apply at the Chick-fil-A near you. Typically you're going to have to fill out a bunch of information online. You can find it through a link, or you can go to your Chick-fil-A and ask them. Sometimes they'll hand you a business card, again with a link for you to follow, and it will give you all the information you need to fill out. It isn't tedious at all. It's actually your standard application, and your application is kind of what is going to seek their interest in the first place. I would say it most definitely ranges on the time you would hear back from them. For me, it took less than 5 days to hear from them, and I received a text, an email, and I don't remember if a phone call as well. A lot of the times in my last video I keep getting this comment over and over, and it's how long did they take you to, you know, get back to you. And it really would just depend on, you know, the operator from the store or the manager, whoever is kind of running the interview process. Can't really give you my word of less than 5 days, because it would truly just depend on your Chick-fil-A that you applied at. A 3-interview process. The first interview, she was a VP, I believe. She brought me in and kind of talked to me a little bit, asked a little bit about me. It was really low-key. We just talked about a little bit about myself, what kind of interested me in Chick-fil-A, and that was that. My second interview was a group interview, which is probably the most scariest thing ever. I am 20 now, but at the time I was 17, and I definitely did not have experience with panel interviews or anything like that. But if I could go back and tell my 17-year-old self, volunteer first. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what I mean by volunteering first. So it is very easy to feel overwhelmed, to be scared, intimidated. They would either go down like one by one on how you were sitting, or sometimes they'll ask, would anyone like to share first. I would recommend, and I wish I could go back and tell myself to speak first, because someone can steal the answer and then you're like, uh-oh, like that was my answer, I was gonna say that, like, and then your turn is next, and then you end up saying something that you don't mean. Don't ever say, I agree with what Suzette said. Like, don't say that. Lastly, I had an interview with one of the main VPs, and it was just him and I, and he talked a little bit about my schedule and my availability type of thing. I was not told to bring a resume for like the first 2 rounds of my interviews. However, I still did, even though my resume was not that big at all, and honestly was very empty, because again, this was my first job. It still looks nice, and it still kind of shows that you're super interested. And I know not everyone had a resume when I was applying, and it just kind of gives that extra touch. And if they needed, you know, if they were going to choose between you and somebody else, but you had the resume and that person didn't, they're most likely going to lean towards you because you put in the extra effort to let them know a little bit more about yourself. So just bring a resume. Even if you don't got enough, even if it's literally just says like my experience babysitting, dog walking, house sitting. Once you get hired, you do go through a little bit of a training process for obvious reasons. And again, I'm really speaking for the way my operator runs his store, because I know some Chick-fil-A's are so different. Some are a little bit more strict, some are more lenient. So what I'm telling you right now is literally my experience, like my words. Please don't think that this is like every Chick-fil-A, because I've only worked at one Chick-fil-A and I only plan on working at one Chick-fil-A. Had about 2 weeks of training, and it's not like it was every day. Because of my availability, I think I was working like 3 times a week. It is a lot, and it's a lot on you mentally and physically, because you're out, you know, you're working in all types of weather conditions. You need to be on your best customer service at all time, and it is a lot. It's a lot, and at the end of the day, if you're working, you know, 8 hours every day, it can be emotionally draining. And working in customer service is probably a lot more harder than people think. You go somewhere and you have a great time, the food is great, but if your service wasn't good and whoever was serving your food, or they were not checking up on you, or they were being rude, you're not gonna ever go back there, because you're gonna think, oh yeah, I had great friends there, the food was great, but like they didn't treat us good, you know. So the whole idea and point is for people to enjoy their visit with you. So if you are not mentally prepared for this customer service universe you're about to kind of come into, just don't do it. Because once you walk through those doors and you clock in, it's like, if you're having a bad day, it's like you get your game face on and you go do the thing, and that's just how it has to be. I am now going to share a few tips that I would recommend to anyone who is thinking about applying. I want to start off by saying that having confidence and being outgoing is really great, but don't think that just because you're maybe more quiet or shy, you won't get the job. If I'm being 1000% honest with you, I was a very shy girl all throughout my life. Like literally, I was very shy, and lots of things would make me really nervous, and I also have anxiety, so my anxiety kind of takes a toll sometimes. And I'm not even lying when I say this, like I'm not just saying this to say, but because of Chick-fil-A and like my job, working with so many people and seeing like thousands of strangers, you know, constantly every day having to talk to strangers, literally definitely brought me out of my shell. And I am so much more comfortable with going into a room or standing up and speaking with the public. Conversating with strangers is so normal to me now, and I definitely am way more bubbly and outgoing because of my job, which is a beautiful thing. And I hear this all the time, they're like, oh, but I'm not super outgoing or super bubbly. It's like, you don't have to. Who said that? Like, who said you have to be like, hey, like, no, like just be yourself. You should be wanted for your own personality instead of trying to be somebody you're not. So that's what I have to say. Don't get discouraged if you're not super loud and bubbly. My next tip is, if you're in high school and this is your first job, please don't get your parents involved. Don't have your parents call the managers or email them saying, oh, so-and-so has practice Thursdays from 5 to 8, and he has a game this Saturday in Carlsbad from 9 to 12, so he can't make it to his shift. Like, first of all, I'm telling you now, and this is coming from a VP at my store who literally told me this, they don't care. And they're literally not gonna wanna hire you if they get those emails or calls from parents. One, may not be 18 yet while you work at Chick-fil-A, but when you're in a job and you're in a workplace, you are treated equally. Once you are in a workforce, you are treated like an adult. So don't be having your parents text or call or email or bug basically the managers and tell them your schedule, or, oh, I'm sorry, like he can't make his shift because he has the flu and he got hit at practice by a lacrosse ball. Like, no, you're an adult now, and now you need to go and communicate that with the managers. They hired you, not your parents. The next tip I want to give is, if you are going to refer somebody to work with you, perhaps your best friend wants a job, please do yourself the favor and only refer someone if you know you can trust them. It would be terrible if you referred your best friend and they ended up quitting or getting fired for a reason. Everyone's going to know, especially your boss, that you did refer them. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have never once referred anybody. Literally anybody. A lot of times people ask me, oh, I want to get a job at Chick-fil-A. Can you like help me out a little bit? And I'm like, yeah, of course, absolutely. As much as you want to help a homie out, it's kind of best to not, because I've seen and I've heard so many stories and I've literally witnessed situations where best friends or boyfriend and girlfriend refer each other and then they get hired and then they do something bad where they end up getting fired. Now the other person looks kind of bad because you recommend them to our team. So that's just a little heads up. I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that, but that is again something that I also heard straight from a VP at my store. Something that I want to get into really quickly is, don't think that you need to be a certain religion or literally even go to church if you want to work at Chick-fil-A. I know there's a lot of things about that I'm going to be very careful with what I say. There are so many people who are different religions who even have no religion, and the religion and your faith isn't going to get you or not get you the job. I'm just gonna put that out there. I do have a lot of people who literally have told me, oh, I wish I could work at Chick-fil-A, but I'm not Christian. And that's funny, I'm not Christian either. So don't you have to like be Christian and go to church to work at Chick-fil-A? Like, where did you hear that? Like, who told you that? There's a lot of assumptions about Chick-fil-A. If you had an assumption about Chick-fil-A, it's probably because you've seen it either on Twitter or TikTok and you believe it, which is kind of sad because it's like, you don't get your news and like believe information from social media platforms. Should probably not be doing that. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I really hope this video was helpful. Again, I do want to emphasize that it really truly depends on your operator and how they run their store. If you are interested in seeing any other Chick-fil-A related videos, I actually have a playlist on my YouTube channel linked in the description for you guys. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys in next week's video.